What is going on YouTube? Running Gun Sports back here with another video. Today is our weekly college football news update review video. Got a lot of college football news to talk about today. Really excited, and some transfer portal news as well. And we took a break from the NFL news update, as you noticed. Just not enough NFL news to cover for the week, and so for that reason we will hopefully be back this weekend, and no promises. The way that the lack of news has been so far, and it being Tuesday, it if I had to guess, I would not plan on a NFL news update video. But who knows? Breaking news could come right now, or in 5 minutes from now, or in a few days. So don't count on it, but at the same time it could be there, so just check back. Another reason why you should be subscribed and follow our social media pages at rungun_sports on Instagram and at rungunsports on TikTok. And with that being said, the NBA playoffs are still going on currently. The Clippers defeated the Jazz 132-106 on Saturday night to give the Clippers a 1-game to 2-game deficit, so now only trailing by 1 game. And then Sunday night, the Bucks defeated the Nets 107-96. That series is now tied 2-2. Very interesting to see if Giannis Antetokounmpo can push his team past KD, Kyrie, and James Harden and the super team that is down in Brooklyn right now. And then you have the Suns swept the Denver Nuggets 125-18, and then just yesterday the Atlanta Hawks tied the series up with the 76ers 103-100, and the Clippers tied up the series 108-104. With now there's two games, series tied 2-2, so 3 series tied 2-2. Meanwhile, the Suns swept through. So the Suns are looking extremely strong right now. And then the Bucks versus the Nets just tonight. And right now, Milwaukee is favored by 3 points. So it'll be a very interesting game. With all that being said, let's get right into the video with 5-star athlete Deon Bowie has decommitted from Georgia. He's still locked in with UGA, and this decommitment comes 4 days after a visit to Texas A&M. And I mentioned Kirby Smart losing a lot of players, and especially the younger commits. He's been getting some transfers, but he's losing young commits, and that's not a good thing. And I think that, obviously Eric Gilbert comes in, and Darian Kendrick and from Clemson, and those guys are both good players, but I think you'd rather have guys to do well for 4 years than guys who are going to do well with your team for maybe 1 or 2 years. And do I think Eric Gilbert's overrated? I really have come to that realization that if he was that good, they would really, if it was really academics, I honestly think that they could find a way to make him eligible, whether he actually was or not. But seriously, I just think that he's overrated, and just all the the hype of his free agency, I guess you can call it, was too much, and he's not that good. And he's a good player, but he's not worth that hype. And I think that there's way better tight ends out there, Jalen Wademeyer, and we'll see what happens there. And I think that Kirby Smart is losing a lot of players. It's very hard to see, and I think the players don't want to be around those guys. If they didn't work out on one team, there's probably a reason that they're going to a different team. So Luke McCaffrey, former Nebraska quarterback, transfers to Rice. He was originally transferred from Nebraska to Louisville, and then now is transferred to Rice, brother of NFL star running back Christian McCaffrey. So Rice picking up a Power 5 talent player, big time deal for them. And Louisville lost him. Not sure why, we don't know yet, but very interesting. Florida's recruiting campaign is currently on an uprise after some favorable comments from some star recruits after some visits that just occurred over the weekend. 5-star defensive lineman Walter Nolan, the number 2 player in the class of 2022, and in my opinion, the number 1 player in the class of 22. I think he's far more talented than Quinn Ewers, the Ohio State quarterback commit. He says he said, quote, "It was great, really opened my eyes about what is being built at Florida." So good comments there from the number 2 player in the class of 2022. And Dan Mullen, after a devastating season, man, you lose your chance of a championship because a guy threw a shoe, and that's unfortunate. And then we're absolutely embarrassed in the Cotton Bowl, I believe it was. And so, very unfortunate end of the season last year for Florida. Ended on 3 straight losses, and just not a good way to go out. And hopefully they can bounce back this year. And maybe they'll go on a revenge tour. I don't see it happening. I don't think Emory Jones can lead his team that well, but I think that he can be a very good player, and we'll see what happens. 5-star athlete Gentry Williams said, quote, "Florida was more than everything expected, and when it comes down to decide, Florida will be one of the schools at the top." So that's very favorable. 5-star athlete Gentry Williams played varsity basketball. He played varsity football, obviously, but played played varsity basketball as a freshman. Also played varsity football as a freshman. But while playing varsity basketball as a freshman, he averaged 9 points per game, which is very impressive for a freshman. So just being on varsity for football is a big deal. Being on varsity for football and basketball, and having meaningful playing time in both, and having contri- contributing to the team is huge. And that's why he's a 5-star athlete. Also ran track, is a very successful track runner I hear. 4-star Florida quarterback Nick Evers commit, it said, "Florida's Florida. There's nothing like it. No place like it." So hopefully they're making the new quarterback and coming feeling at home. Nick Evers, very talented player. The number 1 QB from the class of 2022, Arch Manning, from the family that has 3 Super Bowls combined, has announced his visit schedule for the month of June. He was at Clemson from June 5th and June 6th. He was at Texas from June 11th to June 13th, and he'll be at Alabama from June 18th to June 20th, and he will visit the University of Georgia in the last weekend of June. And Arch Manning, I think, is better than Quinn Ewers already. And a freshman in high school, he was very hyped up, and I don't think it was overhyped at all. And obviously he's going to have some great genes with his family, but obviously I watched him play last year as a sophomore on varsity. Quarterback is very impressive as well, but he played as a freshman on varsity and he was lights out. But he played as a sophomore and he looked like a 6-year senior. I mean, he's got the size, he's got the talent, obviously, but the thing that really stood out to me is, ESPN was at that game, and this game was televised for thousands of people around the world to watch Arch Manning under the lights for the first time. Really their first chance to look at him in a game-like situation. And they're playing a good school, Booker T. Washington. Not the greatest football team in the New Orleans area, but a decent team, a team with a good tradition and good background of good football teams, but they haven't been as good as they have been before. But with that being said, the way he just controlled the game was incredible. I mean, he was just managing it, and calm, cool, collected, all of it. And I was really impressed by that. And there's nothing much to look for in a quarterback. I mean, Jalen Hurts, it really reminded me of him. Just the way he was very calm, collected. He scores a touchdown. He's not running 40 freaking laps around the field celebration. He's hyped up, but he knows that there's another play to be played. And so Arch Manning is really impressive, and I thought that he looked extremely well in that game, and just the way that he controlled the game and was just so impressive to me as a young player. He's 2 more years in high school, and he's only going to get better, especially with the type of spotlight he has. And I'm sure he's trained with some of the greatest, obviously Peyton Manning, I'm sure, but I'm sure some NFL guys are wanting to train him as well. So Tulsa cornerback Akalab Evans has transferred from Tulsa to Missouri. He chooses Missouri over Notre Dame. Georgia wide receiver Demetrius Robbins enters the transfer portal. He's originally had played football for Cal for a couple of years, and then now five-star signee, or excuse me, and then now go obviously transferring away from Georgia, and no word yet on where he will go in his transfer portal. So we'll see there. We'll keep you updated on that one. Former five-star wide receiver in Ohio State signing Tyreek Johnson has transferred to Nebraska. And Ohio State, I've talked about their great wide receiving core, maybe the best right now, maybe second best, them in Alabama. And they had some great players come in, and I think that they have a young, good wide receiving core. But Chris Olave is the head of that wide receiving core, and obviously he's still playing at a great level. And I don't know why he came back. Personally, I think he easily could have passed the torch to those guys, but they lose Jameson Williams to Alabama, and they're now losing Tyreek Johnson to Nebraska. And I think that, yes, it hurts them a bit. I think Jameson Williams is more of a loss just for two reasons. One, because he's probably better than Tyreek Johnson, but two, because there's a chance they play Alabama again. So, he might be a threat against your own team. But with that being said, I think that it doesn't matter that much, just considering the amount of depth that team has, and I think that it won't hurt them that much at all, and they're still recruiting very well. Four-star linebacker Josiah Trotter announces his top four schools: South Carolina, Penn State, Clemson, and Ohio State. So that will wrap it up for today's video. If you guys have not already, please leave a like down below, subscribe, and share this with your friends. As I mentioned earlier in the video, we're not sure if an NFL news review video will be coming out, so stay tuned and check out our social media pages, as I mentioned. But we will be releasing a NFL team off-season review coming up of the Minnesota Vikings, so we're looking forward to that. And with that being said, have a great day, and thank you guys so much for watching.